Welcome to this week's edition of Ask Simmo after a week off, courtesy of ECU. I'm Will Schofield. I'm joined once again by the senior coach Adam Simpson. Simmo, what happens in the week off, mate? Do you get a break? What is it?
Yeah, a little break. We all got 4 days off, as you know. The Players Association have made that mandatory, which I think is a good thing for this one thing. And we needed a break, so we had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off, and then trained for a couple of days and back into it this week. So whilst it was time away from the club, it's actually difficult to completely disconnect, but it was good to get a break.
And just literal time between games, meaning that may look to get some players back after this break?
Oh yeah, well I think we would have been pushing the line last week with a few players. Like we had a good session on Friday. Where we're at the moment now is going to be, there's several players who, they're going to be pushing to come back this year. We're hoping they will later in the year. So between now and the last 3 or 4 games, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to get a deep list to play. But the guys returning are quality players that we've missed. So McGovern, Barrass, Duggan, Hearn, Cripps, Cole. We're hoping to get them back in the next couple of weeks.
Given there was no game, is it the training track impact they can have? Because like those players, senior players, does make a difference when you can put some quality at training together.
Yeah, standards lifted at training, that's for sure. Yeah, obviously. I mean, they're quality players. They're really hard to replace. And the list profile at the moment, it looks like we're pretty young, like real young, 18, 19. And then there's the veterans that need to help transition our list. So we need them available to do what we want to do. So that's been the plan for a few years. We just haven't had it turn out that way just yet. So hopefully the next 10 games we get to see the good combination we're looking for.
Looking forward to it. Let's get into some listener and audience questions. Kaiser asks, will there be any changes in game style or player roles in the back half of the season?
Oh, not really. It's a real challenge to produce, a style of play that we think is going to stand up in the long run when the synergy's just not there. There's no excuses. The Adelaide game in particular, we were playing Oscar Allen at full back and 19-year-old on Tex and Elliot Yeo starts down. It's just difficult to get the flow that we're looking for, but we weren't happy at all with that game, and obviously no one was happy with that performance, and we think we're better than that. But I don't think the style of play really affected the way we played. It was more intent and effort and then personnel.
Okay, Jason Matthews asks, what is the debate like around the coaching group to keep Ryan Marrick in the side despite some returning players this week?
No, we'll keep him in. So it's only one discussion, that's with me, Ryan. He'll stay in. So we thought he showed us enough. I don't know how many inside 50s we had, but it would have been under 40. Yeah. And he had 3 shots at goal, and it was his first game. And we lost Jake right before the game started, which just added to our issues. And he was going to play anyway, but without Jake, who won't play next week, we think there's a spot there for him.
In the positive side of things, Ryan Marrick, you've coached him. He looked like Jack Gunston to me. He's a bit under a key position, but he looked really agile, moves left and right well, hits up well. Yeah,
I've coached him for 2 weeks, and I think there's that, and then there's the temperament, which I don't know. Sometimes you can just tell with players they've got the right temperament for attention, I suppose, and he's not looking for it, but I don't think he shies away from it. So I don't think he's overawed by a crowd, put it that way. So he seems to handle that, and his game sense is a bit more advanced than most 18-year-olds. So that puts him in front of probably some others that get drafted.
Great, good to hear. Aaron Scott asks Simmo, with McGovern not far away from a return, is there a chance he lines up in the Waffle team initially, or any of the senior players? I might add to that.
Yeah, it's a good question. We haven't worked through that yet. The temptation is just to get them in because we need them. But there's also the fact they've missed 10 or 12 weeks. So we're going to have that with Cripps, Cole, McGovern. Barrass missed a few weeks, but he comes straight back in. So we're working through that. But at this stage, probably get him into the seniors. If there was a game last week, I reckon he would have played a bit of Waffle.
Okay, there you go. What about this one? Alan Coultas asks, what kind of integration exists between the AFL players and the Waffle Eagles? Do they get chances to train together consistently or at all as a group?
Not really. I mean, the captain's run's probably the most. I mean, you've seen it, Scully. It's been a real challenge because our Waffle Eagles has about 10 injuries as well at the moment. So that's a really difficult situation they're in at the moment, and all we can ask for is to play with spirit, and they're doing their best. So the connection piece, whilst we'd like it to be stronger if possible, it's there. It's just really difficult at the moment.
Good. That's it for this week's episode of Ask Simmo. Thanks to ECU. It's the Sydney Swans on Saturday afternoon on the road. All the best for the game, Simmo. I'll see you in Sydney.
Thanks, Scott. You're going. Oh, beauty.